That's it, we're going. We're rolling. Roll VT. Good evening and welcome to another Fortean Words.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, has anything Fortean been happening this week?
Yes, there was the Aurora Borealis at this time of year, at this latitude, located entirely within the Falklands, but also Wiltshire, and it was red. Did you not see the Northern Lights?
Yeah, I'll see a couple of pictures, but
yeah, I didn't see it myself, but that's incredible. Like, it was bright red, so that means
like a Babylon's
two
ass.
Speculations.
Means the weather's going to be bad tomorrow.
My dad said. My dad says, "Oh, do you think they've turned CERN on and are fucking with reality again?" And I thought, yeah, but it could also be that the magnetic North Pole is destabilising.
Is your dad slowly becoming red-pilled a bit?
Oh, he's always had his woo-woo theories. Like,
there's just some
the reason I did the
electronics.
Well, the electronics ones I did, that's because he told me, he says he reckons that all of the electronics we get, the integrated circuits and transistors, were just reverse engineered from the Roswell crash.
Or demons.
Well, you know, it doesn't matter what they're in. Their technology is advanced. If
demons are aliens, then it's demonic technology, not alien technology.
Yeah. Not disagreeing with you there. So yeah, red skies and possibly stuff which is in the Book of the Apocalypse, which the Protestants call Revelations, happening right now. The red heifer in Jerusalem, rebuilding of the third temple.
Oh yeah, they're trying to clone it right now, aren't they?
Claims that the Antichrist is walking among us, but he's not been revealed to the public. So yeah, it's been a very Fortean week. Sometimes there's like weeks in which decades of stuff happen, and then there's like decades in which weeks happen, and I think we're in the former rather than the latter. So it seems there's a lot of stuff going on. There's probably been more stuff about aliens getting released, because they're probably trying to.
I don't know, they've got Israel Palestine, haven't they, to hide all that behind, haven't they?
Oh well, you know, I'm not interested in about like the Middle East conflict of the week. It's here today, gone tomorrow.
Some babies have been butchered. It's just an average day in the Middle East.
A hospital got blown up. Wow, that must be
Rip Heppel's dead apparently. I don't know who Rip Heppel is.
No, you'll have to tell me. I don't know.
I bet he's a porn star, knowing Ian.
But just very Fortean stuff has been happening, and it's been interesting. It really has been interesting.
I can only full postal addresses online.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, he's a Loch Ness monster. He's like Ian. Ian's bumping off the competition, I think.
Oh, I see. Doesn't want anybody getting the exclusive footage. So
Steve Felton better watch his back.
Oh God.
Ian's going to become the premier Nessie hunter by default by bumping them all off.
The exclusive Nessie hunter.
Yeah.
Val shall have no other Nessie hunters but me, for I am a jealous Nessie hunter.
Men don't go through that chain.
Oh God, I just accidentally played some Brutus online. Whoops.
Oh dear.
Right, so that was only about 3 seconds. So I don't think anyone was affected by it.
You mentioned it once, but you got away with it.
Yeah, I think so. Dear. So right, so what did you want to talk about this week, Hobbit?
The title's not saying cellular memory.
I'm going to do that now.
Or rather, the lack thereof of hemicellular memory.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned it once or twice, but I think I got away with it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Cellular memory is up now. My Akashic CD's got dirt on it.
I got a bit of a quandary here because you see, the way I like to do a show is I'll come up with a subject and then I'll research it with you and the audience at the same time, so we all find out the same stuff, and that way we can all have a genuine, unrehearsed reaction. However, my quandary is poverty internet. If I start researching, will my voice cut out as the website loads?
I don't think so.
I'll chance it. Well, we will chance it. But so the story I heard, by the way, for every time Fraser says "fucking," I say
Hold on a minute, Hobbit. Hold on a minute. Cellular memory. Cellular memory is. Hold on a sec. Where is it? Cellular memory release is a focused method on accessing and transforming this emotional toxicity, thereby allowing all holistic parts, spiritually, emotionally, and cellularly, to communicate and regain.
What that bullshit is you're saying? That bullshit is like when a lot of people started searching for Israelis dancing on Google, and then for whatever reason, there was a Israeli dancing studio that came to the top of the search results because. Learn about the exciting history of Israeli dancing and how you can do it yourself. Best done in groups of 5, I'm told. So.
Okay, then.
I heard.
But body memory. Body memory is a hypothesis that the body itself is capable of storing memories as opposed to only the brain. While experiments have demonstrated the possibility of cellular memory, there are no known means by which tissues other than the brain would be capable of storing memories.
Stephen J. James.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I checked it out.
Now.
Then. Here's a little postscript, Hobbit. A modern usage of BM, because obviously body memory is too long to say, so
movement.
You have to shorten it down to BM. Tends to frame it exclusively in the context of traumatic memory and ways in which the body responds to recall of a memory. In this regard, it's become relevant in the treatment for PTSD.
Because when you're saying BM, I was thinking that means bowel movement.
No, it means body memory, because obviously body memory is very long to say. That's why you have to shorten it to BM.
Oh, yes. Not bowel movement.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, go on then, Hobbit.
That's not confusing in the slightest. The story I heard was mice, or lab rats. They're in a maze, and they scurry around in the maze and do the usual thing, and then eventually they find the way out. And then you compare them to control group, same maze. You got the mice that have already completed the maze and the ones which haven't. And yeah, the ones which have completed it, they seem to remember the way, and they'll complete the maze faster than the control group. So, in this case, another control group, one which hasn't done the maze at all, they are fed the brains of the mice which have done the maze. And
are we going to start talking about General Buck Naked in a minute?
Wow, that could. I'm sure we can thumb it in somehow. Now, in this experiment, the mice which ate the brains of mice
Fairy
which have
Morgana
done
says
the
cellular
thing,
memory. Don't you mean mobile phone memory?
Yes. So with the mice which were fed the brains of the mice that completed the maze, versus the other control group which hadn't done anything, they were not just faster than the control group, they were faster than the group which originally had done the maze. which to me just seems a bit like odd, because it's like, what? So not only do they have the memories of how to complete the maze, they've got like a bit of extra, I don't know, stimulant effect from eating mice brains. So, cannibalism makes mice run faster for a maze. But that seems to be what it's about. Now let's see if I can find that story. Whilst I'm doing that, I wanted to mention June. Oh, it's too bad Mush isn't on here. You could talk about that with us. In June, they've got human cloning, but for whatever reason, cloning is... I'm not sure. It'd be nice to talk with someone about it that actually knows what it is, but there's no clones made from living tissue in June. There's only clones made from dead tissue, and they're called a gola.
I've always wondered that. I've always wondered that myself. Like in the films and that, it's like they clone the person, they know exactly what they're doing and stuff. But surely it's just all you're doing is creating another body.
Yeah, you're creating another body from. You're basically making an identical.
That body would just be like look like a baby, wouldn't it?
You're making an identical twin of the person you're cloning with the other thing in it of that the telomeres are going to be shorter, because the telomeres will be as short as the clone you're doing it from. So if you clone someone that's 40 years old and the telomeres go into like a newborn baby, it will effectively have a lifespan of at best 60 to 80 years. If someone could live like 100 to 120 years. So it doesn't, like, the older you clone someone. Now, in cells, there's mitosis.
So is this actually
separation.
so is this borne out in results, or is it purely theoretical?
No, this is commonly known in biology, like cells when they.
Sorry, no, I don't mean the telomeres. I mean the actual that will happen like that. Is it theory or is it actual fact?
It's fact.
Okay. Then.
So the problem with clones is that the clones they tend to have advanced aging, because the telomeres of their cells are the same age as the other ones, and that's why they're saying the research into anti-aging is to find something which will stop the telomeres, which are they're the caps at the end of DNA, and if they can find a way to stop them fraying, then that means you'd have less transcription errors. But one of the reasons you age is because as the telomeres wear out, every time your cells reproduce, there's more and more errors, and that's why as you get older, just everything starts breaking down.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying. So it's actually born out. So it's born out because of Dolly the sheep. So they realised that through Dolly the sheep.
No. Do you know the crazy thing about Dolly the sheep? It wasn't even like the cloning of it. Like, for whatever reason, the press got into the head that this is a big thing. Like the first time an animal's been cloned, and the chap that cloned it says, "Well, I don't know what you guys are on about. Like, cloning's just a done thing. I was just trying to clone the sheep because it had some desirable traits, and I wanted to carry on my research." So the first instance I know of animal cloning taking place was in the 1940s under Nazi Germany, where they were cloning rabbits, because obviously, rabbits, they're not known for reproducing rapidly. So the Germans, they're
weird. Also known for their uniqueness, aren't they? It's like, they keep picking animals that are like 100% known for their uniqueness. Like, why don't they do like spotted spaniels or something like that, so you could at least see if you cloned a spaniel, would it come out with exactly the same markings on its coat? It's like questions like this, isn't it?
No. Wow, that's a good question, actually, because I do know about a prize bull that was cloned, and it was I think it was called Chance or Lucky, and it was evil. That's actually a good story covered by Freeman from Freeman TV, which, by the way, he's still around. He's like Alex Jones. He's banned from YouTube, but he's still doing his week. So if you want to hear someone talking about UFOs and Freemasons, he's good for that sort of stuff. he recently had Joseph Atwill on saying that, Jesus was a conspiracy by the Romans to, put upon the poor Jews. I was like, okay. So that Jesus was actually, that's it. Mary had an incestuous relationship with not incestuous relationship. She had an adulterous relationship with a Roman legionary. But anyway,
was his name Biggest Dickus?
Freeman of Freeman TV has mentioned about animal cloning before, and he mentioned about the bull called Lucky Chance. Now let's see if I can find this story about lab rat mice. Lab mice fed brains of lab mice complete maze faster. Let's see if I can find that. Hopefully it doesn't kill my internet.
Right, how about this one?
Historical mazes.
Ash says, I've heard that every cell can communicate with each other from some linkage network, and it can absorb external energy via water molecules, which are optimized in structure by ATP.
I don't know what ATP's got to do with it, because ATP is a weird substance, but your body consumes, I'm told, about 70 to 80 kilograms of ATP a day. No, not ATP, sorry. It consumes about 70 kilograms a day of phosphorus.
Pretend I don't know what ATP is.
But because it just gets continuously recycled. It's the magic molecule what's glucose energy, and as far as I know, that energy is in the form of electricity.
No, what is it
so all the cells in your body, with the exception of the red blood cells, it's probably something phosphate. I used to know what it was. The main point of it is like it's got phosphate, and it's I can find out, but I want to see if this thing about mice.
Adenosine triphosphate.
Mice in the laboratory show rapid learning, sudden insight, and efficient explanation. Yeah, there you go. What he said.
Yeah.
The Association of Tennis Professionals.
That's the top Google search.
Tennis professionals.
That's the top search
in each
result
of our cells, and that when you get glucose, don't you just love how Google gives you only relevant search? It's really good, isn't it?
Google was written by Roger Rabbit. It only gives you the proper results when it's funny.
No, it's like Roger Rabbit. If you work for the ADL, he only gives you the results if they're racist. This study here. Here we go. In laboratory studies, one prominent instance of one-shot learning is the Bruce effect, which is Bruce 1959.
Was he Australian?
Here, the female mouse. Well, I can't pronounce olfactory, so I'm going to say it forms a smell memory of a mating partner that allows her, so the husband, that allows her to terminate the pregnancy if that threatens infanticide. Terminate the pregnancy with the friends. I don't understand that. So what? You've got young. The other male's thinking about eating the young.
Send me the link of it. Send me the link. I'll read it and I'll see if I can make sense of it.
Cause a abortion. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about like. Yeah, here's where we feed like mouse brains to mice. It's in general. And I'll just post the paragraph I'm reading as well. They got it there. So, look at that stock photo. Here's an Asian and a woman standing over his shoulder, smiling, looking at a laptop. See how diverse we are. What is saying? Another form of rapid learning accessible to laboratory experiments is fear conditioning, where a formerly innocuous stimulus gets associated.
Oh right, yeah, I get that.
Subsequent avoidance of the stimulus.
I get that. So she's got
the learning.
She knows the smell of She knows the smell of the parent. So then, if she encounters,
yeah.
So then she'll auto abort. So I assume that's if a mouse goes off and he gets battered by another one. So then she'll abort. So I'll take it as something like with lions.
Is that like a horrible form? Like, oh, you got beat up. I don't like you anymore. I'm just gonna have an abortion.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Ugh. You know what? I'm drowning the next mice I catch in my trap. Fuck those bastards. If it's a female mouse, it's getting drowned.
So she's kind of like, oh well, he's just going to eat the babies. He's just going to eat the babies anyway. So she just self aborts.
Might as well have an abortion.
Yeah.
So they carry on saying here, these learning systems appear designed for special purposes. They perform very specific associations and govern binary behavioral decisions. They'll likely implement brain circuits, and indeed, great progress have been made in localizing these operations to the accessory olfactory bulb and the cortical. An attempt to identify more generalizable mechanism of learning. Is there anything I should worth saying here? Abstract tasks linked to blah. Monkeys, stimulus using the eyes, mouse in the box.
Well, actually, you missed the rest of the mouse thing.
I'll just carry on with the bits I was going to say.
You missed You missed the rest of the mouse thing. That was another form of rapid learning accessible to is fear conditioning, because we were talking about PTSD.
Yeah.
So where
right, that's pertinent to what we're talking about before.
So that really leads into the PTSD. So is fear conditioning where a formerly innocuous stimulus gets associated with a painful experience, leading to subsequent avoidance of the stimulus. So it'll obviously work as well with genuinely painful experiences. Yeah.
I think that they did some of that. Well, they called it Pavlov's dog, where it's not just like ringing a bell causing it to salivate, but they did it painful. I should stop fiddling with the microphone stand. Sorry. What I wanted to say is, it's become a chink trend where you get like a kitten or a mouse, and you get a kitten or a cat, and you have it distracted, like because it's eating something. You put a cucumber near it. Then when it turns around, it immediately jumps up in fear because it's like, oh god, it's a snake. Now that kitten's never seen a snake before, yet somehow it's got this cellular memory that that's a snake. I need to jump away. It's dangerous. How does it know that the cucumber is a snake? It's memory. It's right in its cells itself. And so the thing is, like, the first time I heard about cellular memory was because of June, and it was the idea. There is you get your Gola, which again a unique concept of June, and I don't know why anyone else doesn't do it. Where you make a clone from dead cells, from a corpse, sorry, and then you can do conditioning with it so that in the case of June, it was like causing usually something really painful or traumatic.
JMK put one in.
The trauma would trigger the memories of the.
So JMK said, "Did you know if you put a rat in water, it will give up swimming at around 15 hours and drown?
Silent.
But if you save it, then next time it will expect to be saved and keep swimming for 80 hours."
Yeah, when you got hope, you can survive a lot longer. Because after a while, they give up and they start drowning.
Well, we all remember Batman.
But yeah, but hope is the killer. The way they was. I never watched the film. I only saw like a few memes, like it will be very painful for you. Yeah, so I remember. I think the reason why there's Golas and not clones in June is because the idea is like someone's dead, then you bring a Gola, and then when they train them up to like a certain age, like 13 or 14, that's when you induce a traumatic experience with it, so they can remember their past lives. And then when they got their past lives back, they got all their like things before. So very like useful people would keep getting reincarnated as a Gola. And I suppose the idea of not having them as clones, because then there'll be a continuity of error. I really don't know why that is. I want to find out right now, because this is probably.
While you're doing that, Hobbit, do you know something about an experiment where they put an image of a hawk on the roof of a chicken house, and the chickens shit themselves even though they'd never seen daylight?
Yeah, again, like, how would the chickens know that a hawk is dangerous if they've never seen a chicken before, never seen a hawk before? I mean, how do they know what a hawk is? Why is there no clones but only Golas in June? Let's find out. Because originally found the Gola was the June equivalent of term for a clone, but this one line means both exist within the universe. They're distinctly different types of things. But the replica body grown for solar cells is Gola, then what would the clone even be? He is a Gola, not a clone. Sci-fi Stack Exchange.com. There we go. Let's try that one there. Clone implies exact copy of Gola with the changes. No, Gola is often fully formed adult where they come out the tanks. A clone is like a baby made from another cells that's identical to the other, but comes out as a child. Also, it's just Frank Herbert being inconsistent. He does it throughout all the books. Yeah, that's probably true. Like, as good as June is, and it really is good, and Frank Herbert was a very clever man. He used to take magic mushrooms, you see, and he was convinced the bit which is magic in the magic mushrooms were the spores, which are slightly purple in colour, and so he was his like idea for spice and like being able to see into the future and stuff was like, well, if there was just like the magic purple spores from the mushrooms, but just in the desert. Several times in the Dune franchise, we hear of the dead being resurrected via the Gola process. The process sounds very much like cloning, with Dune working on the Gola, stating the true Gola is only created after the original body's death. However, there are several references in the books that would seem to indicate a Gola is not cloned from cells, but rather is the original body regenerated or healed back to its original state. One passage stated that the wound to a victim's head was too great for regeneration, thus preventing said person from being brought back as a Gola. If the process only required a few cells like cloning, that wouldn't be an obstacle. So obviously there's some key differences beyond when the cells are obtained. What else is it? It's basically cloning, the use of cells of the original. It only has to be a few cells, no head needs to be intact. I think it mixes up with regeneration because there is the triggering process when the memories of the original can be awakened. Do you remember that Arnie film, The
Sixth Day, that was all about cloning? Where literally everything's when Arnie, he's in a crash and that because he gets murdered by the corrupt exec, and he gets cloned and he doesn't even realise it.
That's totally not Total Recall. I'll have to watch The Sixth Day again because for some reason I'm thinking of Surrogates, but that's with Bruce Willis.
No, that's because Arnie goes back to his house not knowing anything, but he's been cloned and he doesn't realise it. But then at the end, so.
Right, so I think there's not really much to say. Like, the non-canon but Frank Herbert approved Dune Encyclopedia says the Gola process at the time of Dune was more of a corpse restoration process. However, by the time of God Emperor of Dune, the process has been refined to allow a full clone to be created as a Gola. So I assume the difference being like a clone won't have the cellular memories of the original it's just a copy. Like
and then you've got stem cells, which are like the Scrabble blank tile of the body, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. But Frank didn't know about this stuff back in the 1960s.
Yeah.
There was another thing which sort of
when was
DNA
wasn't discovered till like 62, 64, was it?
Funny enough, like this is the other thing I also think it's worth mentioning. Francis Crick and James Watson? Well, Crick and Watson, they co-discovered it. And one or both of them says they wouldn't have been able to visualize the structure of DNA if they hadn't been taking LSD at the time, because it was only when they did it then did they start realizing the molecule that they were describing in this was formed as a double helix, and then later on with electron microscopy it was proven that they were correct. So literally, like the discovery of DNA, it came to me in a vision whilst I was tripping on acid. So I wanted to mention back to Alphabet's point about the what was it you said about ATP. Let's go back to the ATP comment. God, there's a lot of spam there. God of Pig and super exciting clip show. Just stop it. Calm down. Wait, here we go. Ash says, I have heard that every cell communicate with each other. Yes, they can. Right. So DNA is very interesting, right? Not only does it use messenger RNA to send like chemical signals from one to another, it does another process which is even more fascinating. The double helix structure of DNA lends itself to being an antenna so it can receive information. But more interesting than that, and this was a new field of study when I finished my medical science course, was the study of biophotons. This idea that not just bioluminescent things like fireflies and jellyfish glow in the dark, but every single living creature emits biophotons, and plants seem to do it more than animals. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, DNA, it's it can make a laser, as in it will send collimated beams of photons. Now they're very faint, so you're not going to be able to see it with the naked eye. Although maybe some people can, because they say they can see an aura around people, but I don't think they're seeing visible light there. We should do something about Kirlian photography at some point and seeing auras. But biophotons, they're released by all sorts of creatures. And one of the things I thought was fascinating about that was there was an example of, it was Kirlian photography was used to photograph a leaf. And then they cut the leaf in half, and yet the biophotons of it, they created a three-dimensional hologram of the leaf structure. So even though the leaf had been cut, it was completely just like it had a cellular memory of it. And I must admit, this came to me at a point when I was stoned at the time, but I was thinking, because we're doing stem cells in the course. And one of the points in it, I said to them, all right, look, you've explained about stem cells. They associate with the tissue next to them. And they're like, your kidneys, right, I'm going to be a kidney cell as well. But where's
I'm going to be a kidney cell,
go?
but I'm also going to move halfway up your chest.
Yep.
Yeah, well, where'd you get like the kidney cell, the stem cell saying, right, that's enough kidney tissue there. I'm going to be a blood vessel. I'm going to be part of the nephrons, what go to the bladder, take the piss out. And someone else is going to be like, I'm going to be an artery. I'm going to be the muscles inside an artery. And then another one goes, you know what? This kidney's big enough now. I'm going to be the boundary of the kidney.
I'm going to be a gammy eye.
I'm going to be the connective tissue between the organs. I'm going to be skin. How does the stem cells know to do that?
I'm going to be a vagina.
There's no information in the stem cells which tell them what it's going to be. It's just like if you put stem cells next to a tissue, it will form that tissue. It won't form any like blood vessels or things like that. Something has to tell it to do that. And that, I think, is a form of cellular memory.
Well, there's also the stem cell, like we started talking about the stem cell. There's also the stem cell, whereas, if you put it on someone's nose, it will turn into the shape of a nose. If you put it on someone's arm, it will go into the shape of an arm, won't it?
Well, this is why I'm mentioning with the the holographic biophoton matrix there, with the leaf cut in half. I reckon when you're born, there's like a spiritual light body, and then your material body fills it out.
Amputees also get a phantom pain, don't they? They feel the whole foot. They feel like, say they have their foot amputated, they'll feel the whole foot, won't they?
And when the Stephen J. James of the medical world would say, "Oh, it's just your old nerve endings are just sending confusing."
Do you want to know what
signals
Stephen J. James would say about cellular memory, Hubbard?
What's that?
Cellular memory is a parallel hypothesis to BM, obviously because body
bowel movements.
But yeah, because it's far too long to write. Positing that memories can be stored outside the brain in all cells. The idea that non-brain tissues can have memories.
Why is bowel movement too long to say, but not cellular memory?
I don't know. It's Wikipedia, isn't it?
I had a good BM prior to doing the show, actually. It was the sort that left me with a spring in my step.
Like when your dog has a shit in the garden and it comes running around the house.
Does your dog do the thing where he's like, he'll sort of like jumping on his paws and like scraping the grass up and kicking it up?
Of course he does.
Why do dogs do that?
Yeah, because they love a good shit, don't they?
Yeah, but my dog used to do that too, and I was just like, although that's
not a valid dog betting thing, because I did try that when I was betting on dogs. I always betted. I was betting on the one that just had a shit all the time, and it didn't work.
Oh, okay. Oh, what at the races?
Yeah. So anyway, back to.
Hey, maybe the ones that haven't had a shit will go faster because they're running to the loo.
Back to Snopes. The idea that non-brain tissues can have memories is believed by some who have received organ transplants, although this is considered impossible. The author said the stories are intriguing, though, and may lead to some serious scientific investigation in the future. In his book, Transplant Nation, Douglas J. Vincent, we should call him from now on.
Not to be confused with Vincent Bruno.
Yeah. Suggests that atypical newfound memories, thoughts, emotions and preferences after organ transplant are more suggestive of immunosuppressant drugs and the stress of surgery on perception rather than of legitimate memory transference. In other words, as imaginary as a bad trip on LSD or another psychopath. It's totally just drugs. The drugs. Hang on.
James Case's Hobbit was more stoned than an ISIS bride that wants to go home. When I was seeing how the stem cells form with the light bodies, I was very stoned.
Oh, how about what Fairy Morgana says? Each kind of cell has a different sound, so your body sings the cells it needs. Possible?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I believe the light. But the thing is, if you look at the science of cymatics, different tones will produce different patterns. So it is a song. We're sung into being. The word brings forth matter into various shapes and patterns. Mm-hmm. And this is, I mean, it's sort of, we're drifting a bit from cellular memory, but I would say no, the actual thing of saying how to form some, with 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, and 2 testicles, and why have we always got 2 of everything? Why don't we have 2 brains? Well, they said we have got 2 brains.
We have one head.
Yeah, but we've got a left brain and the right brain, and then there's the corpus callosum, which connects the 2 halves together.
Aren't there people that have had that bit damaged, and it really fucks them up, doesn't it?
It can lead to schizophrenia, because you've got a disconnect between the 2 halves of your brain. So you can't be as coordinated as before. Mm. It's very strange indeed. Funny enough, I had learned about the corpus callosum when I was reading about piracetam, and they said it was originally made in Belgium in the 1960s as an Alzheimer's treatment. They found it stimulated connections and neuron growth in the corpus callosum, improving left and right hemisphere communications from the brain. Be interesting to try it in schizophrenics and see if it makes them better or worse. If it repairs the
do you know
damage
about the
that crack
flatworm
does.
experiment, Hobbit?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So just going back to the stem cell stuff. So, yeah, I do believe there is a cellular memory there which forms bodies, but then there's got to be some other sort of memory, like this idea that, there's like this thing where people are instinctually scared of insects.
Oh,
and
Interdimensional
spiders.
says, so you know the film Rain Man, so the real Rain Man, Kim Peek, he was missing the corpus callosum.
Oh, that's why he's got those chameleon eyes. He can read 2 pages simultaneously because it sort of goes in through both eyes. It's weird.
Go on then, Hobbit, what were you saying?
Oh, weird. No, it's just I said my bit. We'll move on a bit into organ transplant.
Oh, so
later.
I'll do the flatworms first.
Yeah.
Biologists at Tufts University have been able to train flatworms despite the loss of brain and the head. This may show memory stored in other parts of the body in some animals. A worm reduced to 1/279th of the original can be regrown within a few weeks and be trained much quicker to head towards a light and open space for food. An unnatural behaviour for a flatworm. With each head removed, training times appear reduced. This may just be a sign of epigenetics showing the appearance of memory. However, in the
that was the new thing when I left. The study of epigenetics. So up until then, there was this bullshit term of junk DNA. 90% of DNA is junk DNA. And then they said, junk DNA is a bit of a misnomer. We're going to call it non-coding DNA. It's like, so that's just a fancy way of saying junk DNA. And it's like, no, it's not non-coding DNA. It's just most of it's deactivated.
You haven't figured out what it's for.
Because the epigenetic triggers haven't been activated. So epigenetics means switching on and off. And it just means that all this so-called junk DNA, it does get activated, but only under certain conditions.
Does this make you wonder whether we're a seed planet? So, everything's got the DNA coils, but the DNA coils, everything can be turned on and off, and so it can be turned into certain things?
Well, I think it's a lot like a computer. You can put more software. Imagine you've got a computer with lots of software put into it, and you only sort of play one game on it, or you just check your emails. Well, the computer's got potential to do a lot more. It's just the epigenetic triggers in this computer just means check emails and maybe play Candy Crush on Facebook now. It's like, here's an incredible processor which is like hundreds of times more powerful than the computer used to send man to the moon, allegedly. But, it's just playing Candy Crush and looking at pictures of your daughter's wedding cake or whatever.
So back to the thing you were talking about earlier.
I just like the idea of like a housewife on Facebook, and she's got all this processing power at her fingertips, and she just uses it for the most mundane subjects.
So you were talking about eating things earlier. So in the 1950s and 60s, James McConnell flatworm experiments measured how long it took to learn a maze. McConnell trained some to move around a maze and then chopped them up and fed them to untrained worms. The untrained group learned faster compared to a control group that had not been fed trained worms. McConnell believed the experiment indicated cellular memory. The training involved stressing the worms with electric shock. This kind of stress releases persistent hormones and shows no evidence for memory transfer. Similar experiments with mice being trained and fed to untrained mice showed improved learning. It was not a memory that was transferred, but hormone-enriched tissue.
Well, I've always wondered, where a memory stored, because I've spoken with people more materious than me. I was saying, is there a piece of gristle that you could excise from someone's brain and contain their memories then? And they're saying, yeah. And I was saying, I don't think it's that way. I think it's a case of your brain is a physical object that receives information from a non-physical realm. And that's it. Back to DNA, because I didn't get to finish my point earlier about it. Right, so DNA, it receives information, it's an antenna, but it's also a laser. It can send off biophotons in a straight line, and it's I think, very interesting how it's able to do this. Apparently, the way it can excite photons and shoot it across the double helix is by compressing itself like a spring. So it's effectively it's a particle accelerator. Very clever stuff. Whoever designed it must have been very smart.
Mm.
I'm saying, it's designed because we're created in God's image, so...
Or an ancient astronaut.
Yeah, which was created by God. It's like, how many abstractions do you want before you get to God the Creator? So, yeah, it's... Right, we're pretty much done. Cellular memory, it's a thing. It's very interesting.
Well, it lasted 45 minutes of it.
Yeah, I know. This is what I call a high-quality episode. All the information has been conveyed. We've presented it to you. Now, we could go on to Carillion photography and how, like, when leaves cut in half, they show what, like, the light body there, because that would be quite interesting. Because that's the bit which I thought this is probably where, like, stem cells get formed into the correct organs, and you don't just get a homogeneous mess of, like, muscle, kidneys, and lungs. They all form like separate organs. They're not all mishmashed together, except not quite, because with their organs itself, like hearts and things, there's quite a lot of neurons in there, and in our gut too. So when you've got a gut feeling, or you're thinking with your heart, not your head, you literally are thinking with your heart, not your head. I mean, we could talk about loads of examples that have been documented where someone's had a heart transplant and they've had a complete change of personality. I mean, this is no longer a Fortean subject. It's now become like a documented, observable fact. Like,
well, I found a bit on people who've had transplants. Do you want a few of those stories?
Well, just before we get into that, I'll say, in addition to the neurons you find in the heart, there's also a lot of them in the gut. So a gut feeling is a real feeling. Did you know most of your insulin and serotonin receptor sites, they're in your intestines, not your brain?
Mm.
So that, to me, suggests that serotonin is more a dietary hormone than it is a mood hormone. But then again, if you eat something bad, that'll put you in the foul mood. Or likewise, if you eat something good, that'll put you in the good mood. Like the gammon curry rizu I had the other day, that put me into a good mood. And Catman says, Catmayan says, water has memory too. Yes, water does have memory. It's a liquid crystal.
Is this kind of like stone? Because I don't know whether you know, but ghosts
stone tapes.
Ghosts tend to increase around bodies of water.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Mm.
Yep. That could explain the ghostly sightings around Stonehenge and the Rollright Stones, because there's a big body of primordial water underneath Rollright Stones. I've taken people dowsing there before, and it's always a good place to train someone, because when you get into the middle of the stone circle, the rods just cross over, and sort of from that you got sort of go, oh, okay, it's real, because you say to people, like, look, just walk around here and just observe what happens, and if they're being genuine with it and keeping the rods level, they'll just sort of go to certain spots and go, oh, well, that's strange. Why is it, like, crossing over? And then I said, well, walk away, see if it's a fluke, and then they go back to it. It's like, yeah, it's doing it again. No, I don't really know what's going on with dowsing there, and I have spoken with other dowsers about it, and they say, well, your body is... it picks up on the electric currents that water produces, the electromagnetic currents, and then it... No, some people say it causes twitches in your muscles, but why would it cause like the rods to cross over, and like there's some places where you'll walk and then the rods will go away from each other. And really, you could just say, well, you're just tilting your wrist back and forth. It's like, yeah, but
it's just an accident, bro.
It's just an accident. It's just like an accident when people go to certain spots, like they get rods crossing over. It's just coincidence. Like, my great uncle, who's a water prospector, or the water witch as they called him in Australia, who made his job of like saying, right, you should dig your well there. It was just a coincidence when he was walking along with this hazel twig, and whenever he felt it twitch, he's like, right, water's there, dig there. Oh yeah, you're right, water's there. It's just coincidence.
People in real industries use dowsing. Like, I know a guy that uses it to find water pipes and things like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's literally a thing of like, if it didn't work, people wouldn't do it. And my great uncle, like, he would have come back to England because it's like, well, I went to Australia to douse for water, couldn't find any, so I've come back to somewhere where you can find water. Yeah, so let's talk about a heart and other organ transplants. And why does it cause changes in personality?
So this is from Psychology Today. There are many descriptions in the popular press of heart transplant recipients taking on the personality traits of their donors. Perhaps the best known account is that of Claire Sylvia, former professional dancer. Claire received a heart from an 18-year-old boy who died in a motorcycle accident. After the surgery, she started
smoking and acting surly and saying, I don't want to tidy my room.
After the surgery, she started craving beer and KFC fried chicken, stuff she'd never liked before. My daughter said I even walked like a man. Wanting to understand the changes she was experiencing, she sought out the family of her donor, a teenage boy who died in a motorcycle accident, and learned that these foods were his favourites. But that's just immunosuppressant drugs, bro.
How could walking like a man? Because I thought that was down to
hips.
Hopefully, Susan does. No, you can't say that because that's transphobic.
Oh, okay then.
But if I was a transphobe, which I'm not, Susan, but if I was, I would say, how can that be when a woman's hips and a man's hips are different?
Yeah, it's bone structure, bro. Just goes to show that it's not bone structure, bro. And all kinds of people can walk.
Yeah, see, women can walk like men and men can walk like women. Not that there is such a thing. And trans people are people, and they're valid and viable. I think that's the current buzzword, viable.
Yeah.
They're valid and viable.
About 10 years ago, I read a paper by Paul Pearson.
We love our transsexuals, don't we, here?
Yeah.
We love them.
They're great
we
people.
love them so much. They're great.
In which they discussed the 10 cases.
Better than real women.
10 cases of heart or lung transplants. Pearsall had interviewed transplant recipients, their families, and the donor's family, while Schwartz and Rusek examined parallels between the donor and the recipient. According to the authors, the recipients experienced profound changes in their lifestyles, changes in food, music, art, sexual, recreational and career preferences, as well as specific instances of perceptions of names and sensory experiences related to the donors. Colin,
here's the thing, right? And this
so it's not time travel that makes you gay; it's heart transplants.
Well, imagine if you time travel with a heart transplant. What would that mean?
I've just seen Ash's comment here.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I've just you take shrooms, they make you gay. Yeah. I've just seen the Ash's comment here. Mandela effect proves that memory is not linked to physical matter because you can go into a different timeline or body, but retain your previous memories. That is very true. I mean, the thing is, we are in different realities, and this is why we remember things differently. And I think it's. But at the same time, I really want to understand, how can it be that there is a separate timeline where you've got a logo that looks similar to the one you remember, but there's something that's logically inconsistent about it? And the reason I mention about things like logically inconsistent, like, I'm not going to argue about the USSR flag having a star over it, because it never had a star over it in my timeline. and you got like, commie simps like Phil saying, of course it's got the star on it because it's the star of communism. It's like, well, I'm literally just hearing about this now. And I actually studied Russian as a teenager. I had an interest in Russian culture and history.
Oh, there you
so
go.
I remember
Hobbit's a Russian bot. We all know.
I'm a Russian shill. I'm a Russophile. I literally, it's like I can remember what the USSR flag looked like. So when I could about that, but logical ones, right? Two logical ones which don't make sense about this timeline. One, in the timeline I was in the James Bond film with Jaws, his girlfriend's got braces. She smiles to him and gives him a toothy grin, showing
Actually,
off her
I
braces.
asked the missus the other day, and she said braces as well.
Yeah, and then Jaws smiles back, and he's obviously, he's got the funny teeth.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? They've both got funny teeth, aren't they?
And that's why they form an instant bond, because they like one another, and then they see like they've got a rapport. So, and that they're like the only villains which you see in another Bond film, because people wanted Jaws to come back, and I thought that's one of the reasons I quite like Moonraker, because it's like, hey, it's Jaws, he's in this film as well, cool. Moonraker's a good film, by the way. I know people shit on it a lot because they say it's too wacky, but
my favourite one is The Man with the Golden Gun, because that is just pure comedy. That's just like comedy.
Oh,
Bond.
Is that with
the Chinese schoolgirls?
Scaramanga.
Yeah, and the Chinese schoolgirls.
I sort of more the bit which I find odd was like Christopher Lee's manservant was that little Chinese hobbit. And they got all the microwave
I think it's you,
Mr.
Bond.
The house of Next Tuesday was very bizarre, with like dehydrated food and microwaves, and it's the 60s idea of the future.
I wish we did have the 60s future.
Wow, the sort of Thunderbirds future was cool. And,
it was Jetsons. The 60s future was aspirational. This, like as we've said many a times, this is crap dystopia, isn't it? Well,
I'm not going to talk about why it's crap dystopia, because Susan would say you're wrong and you get a strike. So just won't mention about the people that are hecking valid and just as smart as normal white people.
Yeah.
They built the pyramids, Now, with heart transplants and the Mandela effect, right? James Bond, Jaws, the braces. Yes, she had braces. That's why the thing. But in this timeline, the braces no longer exist. Now, the other thing, which is like, it makes no sense to me. Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia, and the idea of a cornucopia is you've got a horn, and it's the horn of plenty. That's why it's a cornucopia. That's why when you say a cornucopia of stuff, you mean you've got plenty of it, and it's spilling out of a horn. And it was like, it's something like I'd see in Asterix and Obelix, where they're having a feast at the end, and they got a table with like roast boar and cornucopias with grapes and other things coming out of it. And it's just like, for whatever reason, you serve food out of cornucopia. So Fruit of the Loom obviously was like, yeah, you've got a cornucopia with fruit coming out of it, but now our Fruit of the Loom is just like, here's a bunch of fruit with no vessel or container holding them in whatsoever. And so those are two like things which really just, it annoys me, because it's logically inconsistent. Like, why are we in a timeline which doesn't make sense? There's a lot of stuff in this timeline which, to me, just like go, this is not right. This just doesn't make any thing. Stem cells went tits up there. I have 3 nipples. I assume you're saying I have 3 nipples because
Scaramanga.
There's this stupid bullshit thing, right, on YouTube now, where like the bottom right corner is replaced with a Cupid's heart. So I can't read the fucking comment because it, like, the Cupid's heart's there and you can't move it and you can't delete it. Like, can we just like move to another platform? If we, go to Rumble or Odyssey.
Should we go to Rumble with all the, like, I don't know. I suppose we could go to Rumble.
Well, if we went to Odyssey, we could use the gamer words again.
I can't stand Odyssey. Odyssey's crap. I couldn't really stream to it. I don't really understand how it works. It's not intuitive at all.
I'll have to
see why
talk
Brutus enjoys
with
it.
I'll have to talk with Tommy on the Hate Bus about streaming to Odyssey, because he streams to D Live and Odyssey at the same time.
Yeah.
But it'd be
I
nice
can do
if
the
we
dual
could go.
streaming, but I just do not understand how streams work on Odyssey.
It'd just be nice if we could encourage our audience to say, look, we're going to this other thing here, and maybe we can promote. Like, it'd be all right. Just talking shop for a bit. I think it would be good if, like, if for whatever reason YouTube went down, or rather the channel got a shower, that we had an alternative. And rather than just like saying, putting out things on social media saying like, oh, we're here now, what if we use like a system saying like you follow people on this system, and then regardless of where you put your content up, it will have a link to it. Now,
there's the Discord, the Telegram, there's my Twitter.
I was going to say, perpetually tired Lewis Rossman, who for some reason his eyes always look like he's tired, has done a scheme recently where the idea is, regardless of where you put something up, you follow the person on this platform. Let me see if I can find out what it's called, because I think this would be quite good. In addition to cellular memory, if we put this into people's conscious memory of Lewis.
So I'll carry on with this. As we read these reports, we should keep in mind that the prevailing belief is that memories are stored in the brain and nowhere else. Discourages transplant recipients from readily accepting changes in their personality that parallel those of the organ donor, or to speak of these with their families. So, which is right. So they're not really discussing it properly with the people who are getting these hearts, are they?
Well, the thing is, the way organ transplants.
Yeah.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
The way
Yeah. Go on then.
Organ transplants, the way they work. Now they don't like to mention it in hospitals, because it's like, oh well, don't they need it if they're alive? It turns out, if you have an organ transplant, come on brain, you've almost got it there. Or you can only get an organ transplant from a living donor. So, one example, he's a distant cousin of mine, and he was 17 years old. He went to the hospital. They fucked up with a blood transfusion, and they gave him the wrong blood, and it caused liver failure. Because did you know that if you got your liver processes your blood, and so they gave him the wrong blood and it coagulated or something, I don't know, and they said, oh, sorry, we got good news and bad news for you. The bad news that oopsie doops, we've done a whoopsie do, and your liver's dead, so we've taken it out, but don't worry, we've got a donor. The donor turns out is a 21-year-old who's been in a motorcycle crash, and he could have lived, but he's not now, because we've taken his liver out and we've put it in you. So
full on Monty Python meaning of life job.
What?
Yeah, have fun being on anti-rejection drugs for the rest of your life with the motorcyclist's liver in you. I just felt very sorry for him.
Maybe you need spiritual rejection drugs, not physical ones.
Well, I just felt very sorry for him, because it's like, basically your life has been fucked up. Right, so the platform that is called Grey Jay, like a grey bird that's a jay.
As in Hemmingford Grey Jay.
Yeah, Hemmingford Grey Jay. Lewis Rossman, perpetually tired and pissed off New Yorker that repairs laptops, usually Macintoshes, has announced the launch of his new project Grey Jay. And that is user-friendly. Why do they always say apps are user-friendly? Why can't they just say, oh, my app is really
even if the app's bullshit, they'll tell you it's user-friendly.
I mean, an app which is user-unfriendly, I'd say, is YouTube. Because YouTube, they've might as well just rename it fuck YouTube.
Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey is uploading like videos to Odyssey I can do, but streaming from it, I did it once and I didn't really know what I was doing.
Going live to it is a fucking joke.
Yeah, well, this is an app that is user-friendly gives you more flexibility when it comes to watching content from your favorite creator, regardless of their platform. Ad-free and more feature-rich, Greyj is a must-have for every. Oh, I'm glad they didn't say game changer. Americans are particularly fond of the phrase game changer at the moment. Greyj is a must-have for everyone who wants to watch videos online without interruption. Greyj is an open-source app,
And
which
using
means
the wrong
users
word
free
for
to-
vegetables, like cilantro.
and zucchini.
Yeah.
It's a courgette, but they wouldn't know about that.
And metals like aluminum.
Aluminum. Greyj is an open source app, which means the users are free to alter it to meet their specific needs. Regardless of this, the app's original version may be downloaded from Google
do the Yanks
Play.
spell it aluminum, or do they just mispronounce it?
They spell it as aluminum because they remember they had rationing on vowels.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was.
Did that happen in
until
1776, and they've just kind of stuck with it?
I think the rationing on vowels got lifted in the 1960s, but they just like cope and pretend like that their vowel rationing is a good idea. Right, here's the thing. They say it's open source. However, you download it from the Google Play and it costs $10 as an in-app purchase. According to Lewis, the purpose of this fee is to ensure the consumer is not being utilised as a product by the corporation and that the transaction actually taking place in the opposite direction. Why can't you just say, I put effort into this app and I want money for it?
Why don't you just charge you £1 then if it's a nominal fee?
Yeah. Greyj is not an easy or cheap app to build and maintain. We have full-time engineers working on the app and its surrounding systems. So in other words, fuck you, pay me. Great. So it's a tenner. According to Lewis, people are subscribing to people based on their platform and not based on the person and his identity. This is a weekend for creators, and Greyj attempts to solve just that problem. The app merges a number of platforms and provides a hassle-free experience. Well, what's this doing that it wouldn't be like, say, I'm on Twitter or X, and when I post something, regardless of where I post it, you'll find it there.
Don't ever call it. Don't ever call it X, Hobbit. Just call it Twitter.
I suppose that the problem with that is, like, if you say a naughty word on Twitter, like the synagogue of Satan, your account will get suspended. So, like, you know, this really, it's just a case of, I mean, like, fair play to the initiative. Like, it'd be kind of cool to, like, here's an app and you follow someone and then it shows you all the places they've posted things, so you don't have to go hunting for it yourself. But I don't think it's worth a tenner. I really don't.
Is it one-off?
Lewis' main idea, yeah, it is a one-off.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Lewis' main idea behind the app is the fact it empowers creators. Oh, empowers! Yeah, we got to have empowers all the time. And links the viewers properly compared to other platforms.
So when you're empowered, then does that mean you have to get as much cock as possible?
I don't want.
I thought that's what empowered mean. You get as much cock as possible for no real reason, you're just collecting cocks or something.
I think empowered means you're collecting money from cocks without having to interact with them. So that's a bit different. Lewis' main idea behind the app is the fact it empowers the creators and links the viewers properly compared to other platforms. All this is added with an absence of playback ads. It's surprising to say the least. The app has plugins for different websites, YouTube and Twitch, which users can download using specific QR codes. Oh, so in other words, it's kind of just like watch things from this app, and you don't have to get. I mean, I've been using FreeTube.
Hobbit, this is boring me now.
Yeah, it's boring me too. I will say I have been using FreeTube recently, and I really like it. And I reckon if you're on Windows or Linux or Mac, get FreeTube. Don't use YouTube itself.
Is that the one where you can even watch premium content? Is that the one you?
Yeah, because it uses Invidious. It's basically a front end for Invidious, and it lets you download videos. And because I'm on Poverty Internet, that's what I've been doing this week. I've been downloading videos I want to watch, and then overnight, I'll get to watch them the next day. Yeah.
So, fear of being labelled as weird or crazy no doubt dampens many a heart recipient's enthusiasm to share their experiences with others. So, the hospitals really should be telling people all about this, shouldn't they? Because it is part of having a transplant, isn't it?
Oh, I think the informed consent really should just be a case of, look, we'll give you this organ, but it's from a serial rapist, so don't be worried.
You may get a bit
if you
rapey.
Wake up and have, if you have a sudden urge to start molesting the nurses.
Jimmy Savile, you've got Jimmy Savile's heart.
Do you remember when Homer Simpson gets a hate transplant? He gets his hate transplanted from who's someone that's very hateful, Lewis Rockwell. But anyway, he gets a hair transplant from Snake, and then he starts driving Snake's car and doing crimes.
Heart transplant surgery is not simply a question of replacing a diseased organ with a healthy one. It is more than that, as reports in the literature of heart transplants recipients confirm experiencing changes in their own personality which dovetail with those of their donor. But that's just immunosuppressant drugs, isn't it, Hobbit?
It's just placebo, mate.
Yeah. Such personality changes, at least in some people, would be...
a placebo heart. You're just imagining the emotions in his face.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about thinking with your heart and things like that, and stomach and other things, don't they? So
now, here this patient is in for surgery today as he's having a heart transplant. What he doesn't know is it's actually a placebo. The heart is just sugar pills. How do you feel? I feel really sweet. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, he's dying.
Let's see if we can find any more. I found some. Fuck that. I don't know. I don't know how to use ResearchGate.
The funny thing about this as well is it's not just hearts that are transplanted. Did you know there's bone transplants as well?
Cornelias, your corneas.
Yep. I think it's more like a gardener's question time for Cornelius. But no, I heard about this thing, right? So there was this surgery, right? This guy had a hole in his jaw in the bone, and the options were one, they could grow some synthetic bone from his stem cells, and then they graft that back into where the hole is, and that's really expensive. But the cheaper option was we can take bone from a cadaver, grind it up, and then put the paste into your bone, and then your bone will osteoblast over it. Or, if you don't like the idea of cannibalism, we can get bone from a pig.
Hold on, I'm just going to have to go and beat the dog.
Grind it up, and tell him to stop eating those hedgehogs. And grind it up, and then you can have that implanted there. So your choice, if you're poor and if you need jaw surgery, is you're going to have pig bone, or you're going to have a dead man's bone in thing. But that's one of the few examples I know of where an organ transplant can be from a dead donor, because the fact is that the bones is alive enough. And what it really is providing is literally a skeleton for the living tissue of your bone to grow over it, and then it just becomes incorporated as bone tissue. It's very strange, and it makes me wonder, could that not be done with teeth, where you could grind up like a dentine and then put it in there, and then the dentine of the tooth would grow over it? I think it's worth. It's probably worth.
I found some more case studies if you want some.
Yeah.
So case. This is from I don't know, some paper someone done. So case one: the donor was an 18-year-old boy killed in an automobile accident, or car accident, as normal people would say. The recipient was an 18-year-old girl. Automobile. Autovehicular. The recipient was an 18-year-old girl diagnosed with endocarditis and subsequent heart failure. The donor's father, a psychiatrist, reported, my son always wrote poetry. We'd waited more than a year to clean out his room after he died. We found a book of poems he'd never shown us, and we've never told anyone about them. One of them has left us shaken emotionally and spiritually. It spoke of his seeing his own sudden death. He was a musician too, and we found a song he titled called Danny, My Heart Is Yours. The words are about how my son felt he was destined to die and give his heart to someone. He had decided to donate his organs when he was 12 years old. We thought it was quite strong, but we thought they were talking about it in school. When we met his recipient, we were we didn't know what it was. We didn't know now. We just don't know. Okay. So the recipient reported, when they showed me pictures of their son, I knew him directly. I would have picked him out anywhere. He's in me. I know he's in me, and he is in love with me. He was always my lover. Maybe in another time, my lover. Maybe in another time somewhere. How could he know years before he died that he would die and give his heart to me? How would he know my name is Danielle? And then they played me some of his music. I could finish the phrases of his songs I could never play before, but after my transplant I began to love music. I felt it in my heart. My heart had to play it. I told my mom I wanted to take guitar lessons, the same instrument Paul, the donor, had played. His song is in me. I feel it a lot at night, and it's like Paul is serenading me. So then the recipient's father reported, my daughter was what you say, a hellraiser until she got sick. They say from a dentist, they think. How do you get myocarditis from a dentist?
You tell me.
I've got no idea. She was the wild one. Then she became quite quiet. I think it was her illness, but she said she felt more energy, not less. She said she wanted to play an instrument and she wanted to sing. Then she wrote her first song. She sang about her new heart as her lover's heart. She said her lover had come to save her life. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
The only way I can explain this is that when you're... I still say that the actual... Okay, probably what I'm saying here doesn't... Let me form this thought for it. Right. I'm still saying your memories are not a physical object. They're it's a spiritual energy matrix, what holds your memories in. But the fact is, you can have a heart transplanted from somebody and parts of their personality will take over with you. It will take over and become part of your personality and change your preferences and your diet and things. And I'm saying that there's something carried within hearts as well as brains, and it's linked to it that way. For some reason, I just feel suddenly very tired. It's just come over me. I'm sorry about that. It's just, I don't know why. Sorry,
I just heart you've got was sleepy.
Maybe maybe the energy matrix. I'm being sort of disconnected from it as the aurora borealis is spreading there. It's God, that's weird. I know I wanted to talk about cellular memory for weeks, but I think we've really done it now, and it's still weirding me out. The aurora borealis, like, I've never heard of it being as far south as Greece before.
Greece?
And then,
jeez. All right, okay.
Yeah, it was like, didn't you know a few days ago, like, there was people taking photographs of it over Stonehenge and Greece. Yeah, it was just like, and I wasn't really looking at no, the problem is because I've got like lights on in my room, I suppose it means just everything out my window is black, but I don't remember seeing northern lights, and that's weird. Mind you, I suppose with the North Pole being more and more destabilized, we'll see more of it in the future, not less of it.
This next one is quite amusing. So case 3, the donor was a 24-year-old female automobile car accident victim.
Automobile.
Recipient was a 25-year-old male graduate student suffering from cystic fibrosis who received a heart-lung transplant. The donor's sister reported, my sister was a very sensual person. Her one love was painting. She was on her way to her first solo showing at a tiny art shop when a drunk ploughed into her. It's a lesbian art store that supports gay artists. My sister was not really very out about it, but she was gay. She said her landscape paintings were really representations of the mother or woman figure. She would look at a naked woman model and paint a landscape from that. Can you imagine? She was gifted. The recipient reported, I started getting into plumbing. No, that's not what he said. I never told anyone at first, but I thought having a woman's heart would make me gay. Since my surgery, I've been hornier than ever, and women just seem to look more erotic and sensual. So I thought I might have gotten internal transsexual surgery. My doctor told me it was just my new energy and lease on life that made me feel that way, but I'm different. I know I'm different. I make love like making a love to a woman is a lot like being a lesbian. That was a Swiss Tony impression of it. I make love like I know exactly how the woman's body feels and responds.
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking that's part of the Fast Show, isn't it?
Yeah. Swiss Tony.
I mean, I'm not at that stage yet. I'm still in series 2 of the Fast Show, and I don't think he's been introduced yet. Because, a car's a lot like making love to a beautiful woman.
I make love like I know exactly how the woman's body feels and responds, almost as if it's my body. I have the same body, but I still think I've got a woman's way of thinking about sex now. Okay, whatever. The recipient's girlfriend reported, he's a much better lover now. Of course he was weaker before, but it's not like that. He's like, he just knows my body as well as I do. He wants to cuddle and hold and take a lot of time. Before he was a good lover, but not like this. It's just different. What, I bet.
I just said gay.
Yeah. He wants to hug all... No, it's not even got gay yet, Hobbit. He wants to hug all the time and go shopping. My God, he's never wanted to shop.
Gay!
And you know what? He carries a purse now. His purse. He slings it over his shoulder and calls it his bag. But it's a purse. He hates it when I say that.
Gay!
But going to the mall with him, he's like going with one of the girls. And one more thing. He loves to go to museums. He would never, absolutely never do that. Now he would go every week. Sometimes he stands for minutes just looking at a painting without talking. He loves landscapes and just stares. Sometimes I just leave him there and come back later.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, all these serial killers on death row and that in America. I wonder if they get harvested for like organs and put in like Rothschilds and stuff, and that's why they're so easy. Because
I suppose it depends. Well, if they get it, well, not really. I don't think they can, because if you electrocute them, they get charred. The organs are fucked, and then if you poison them, the organs are fucked, aren't they?
I mean, they could just
Hobbit will like the next one. The donor was a 17-year-old African-American male student, a victim of a drive-by shooting. The recipient was a 47-year-old Caucasian male foundry worker diagnosed with aortic stenosis. The donor's mother reported, "Our son was walking to violin class." Oh, he's an aspiring violinist of it.
He was a good boy on his way to college.
He was going to violin class of it, not just college.
He was getting his life on track.
Yeah, with his violin. Who put the violin?
He was going to the probation
I heard his
office.
last words were, "Who put the violin in the violin case?" Nobody knows where the bullet came from.
A Tommy gun.
A chummy gun. No one knows where the bullet came from, but it just hit him and he fell. He died right there on the street, hugging his violin case. He loved music, and his teacher said he had a real thing for it. He would listen to music and play along with it.
Don't tell the mother, but he probably was alive. If that heart transplant was viable, then they had to take out of his still beating corpse.
Yeah.
So he was dead once they took the heart out, but up until that point, he was alive. And the doctors made the right call there, saying, like, you know what? Your heart would be better off in this foundry worker.
He would listen to music and play along with it. I think he would have been at Carnegie Hall someday, but the other kids always made fun of the music he liked. Oh, yo. What the fuck? This gets weird. This gets fucking weird. Okay, the recipient reported, "I'm real sad for all the guys who died. I'm really sad and all for the guy who died and gave me his heart. but I really have trouble with the fact he was black. I'm not a racist, mind you, not at all. Most of my friends at the plant are black guys.
Not racist, just don't like them.
But the idea there is a black heart in my white body seems really, well, I don't know. I told my wife I thought my penis might grow to a black man's size. They say black men have larger penises, but I don't know for sure. After we have sex, sometimes I feel guilty because a black man made love to one.
Oh no!
But I don't really think that seriously. I can tell you one thing though. I used to hate classical music, but now I love it. So it's not my. So I know it's not my new heart because a black guy from the hood wouldn't be into that. And Jesus, not a racist. Remember that. Not a racist.
Not a racist. Just no chimp monkeys are ever going to listen to classical music.
So I know it's not my new heart.
This guy was the Mozart of the black community.
Yeah.
No,
was it Mozart? Was it? Who's the one they say was black? Mozart, was it?
All of
I
them.
think it's Mozart.
Yeah. Now it calms my heart.
Yeah.
I play it all the time. More than that, I like it. I play it all the time. I didn't tell any of the guys on the line I have a black heart, but I think about it a lot. The recipient's wife reported he was more than concerned about the idea when he heard it was from a black man's heart. He actually asked me if I could ask the doctor for a white heart when one came up. He's no Archie Bunker, but he's close to it, and he'd kill me if he knew I told you this. But for the first time, he's invited his black friends over from work. Not a racist.
And then for some reason,
not
we
a
just
racist.
ended up smoking. Not racist, just ended up smoking crack with them.
But it's like he doesn't see their colour anymore, even though he still talks about it sometimes. He seems more comfortable and at ease with these black guys, but he's not aware of it. And more thing I should say, he's driving me nuts with the classical music. He doesn't know the name of one song. Never ever listened to it before. Now he sits for hours and listens to it. He even whistles classical music songs he could never know. How does he know them? You'd think he'd like rap music or something because of his black heart. Not racists. Not racists.
Not racist, just got a black heart.
Oh dear. He's not racist.
He ends up like. Does he end up like stealing more? Is he had an urge to like leave his kids and never to be seen again?
Oh shit! How about this? Oh god, here's another funny one. The donor was a 19-year-old woman killed in an automobile accident. Fucking hell, what is going on in America? Is every guy dying from accident?
Have you seen what is involved with the driving test in America?
I've seen license to drive.
Here you go. Here's your license.
I've seen license to drive where he puts the coffee cup on the dash and he says if you spill it, you fail.
The American driving test is one step above the old-fashioned Belgian driving test. Now the Belgian driving test is as stringent as the rest of Europe, really. But before in Belgium, it used to be up until 1971. When you were 21 years old, you'd walk to the town hall and say to the mayor, "I'm 21 now," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I know you, mum. Yeah, that's good enough for me," and handwrite you your driver's license. So it used to be known in Europe that with old Belgian drivers, just drive defensively around them. My grandmother used to drive drunk all the time, and I just said, I thought they drove on the right-hand side of the road in Belgium. So I talked to my dad in English. So it's like, yeah, I believe she's using the pre-1971 technique of driving in the middle of the road. And I said, well, that's probably the safest place for her to be. And it's just a case of, the new Belgian drivers, they just understand. It's like, just drive around them, park up and let them get past. It's easier. But with Americans, their driving test is literally just a little bit more complicated than the Belgian driving test.
So this one's a 19-year-old woman killed in an automobile accident. The recipient was a 29-year-old woman diagnosed with cardiomyopathy secondary to endocarditis. The donor's mother reported, My Sarah was the most loving girl. She owned and operated her own health food restaurant and scolded me constantly about not being a vegetarian. She was a great kid, wild but great. She was into the free love thing and had a different man in her life every few months. She was man crazy when she was a little girl and it never stopped. Does she mean slut?
Is that like saying she's football crazy, she's football mad? I don't know a footballer Eureka hasn't had.
When she was a little girl, it never stopped. She was able to write some notes to me when she was dying. She was so out of it, but she kept saying somehow she could feel the impact of the car hitting them.
I need cock.
She said she could feel it going through her body.
Ugh. She's there on the deathbed and is like, is there anything you'd like to see if you're playing? Yeah, gangbang.
So the recipient reported, you can tell people about this if you want to, but it will make you sound crazy. When I got the new heart, 2 things happened to me. First, almost every night and still sometimes now, I actually feel the accident my donor had. I can feel the impact in my chest. It slams into me, but my doctor said everything looks fine. Also, I hate meat now. I can't stand it. I was McDonald's biggest money maker and now meat makes me throw up. Actually, when I even smell it, my heart starts to race, but that's not a big deal. My doctor said that's just due to my medicines. I couldn't tell him, but what really bothers me is that I'm engaged to be married now. He's a great guy and we love each other. The sex is terrific. The problem is I'm gay. At least I thought I was. After my transplant, I'm not. I don't think anyway. I'm sort of semi or confused gay. Women still seem attractive to me, but my boyfriend turns me on. Women don't. I have absolutely no desire to be with a woman. I think I got a gender transplant. No, you're still a woman.
It's just a woman. Just ignore what she's saying. She's confused. She doesn't know what she's saying.
Yeah. So her brother said, Susie's straight now. I mean it seriously. She was gay and now her heart made her straight. She threw out all her books and stuff about gay politics and never talks about it anymore. She was really militant about it before. She holds hands and cuddles with Stephen just like my girlfriend does with me. She talks girl talk with my girlfriend, where before she'd be lecturing about the evils of sexist men. And my sister, the queen of the Big Mac, hates meat. She won't even have it in the house. Well, she obviously gets it from Stephen. She don't mind getting the meat off of Stephen, though, does she?
She's getting sausage instead of burger.
Sausage now, is it?
Do you want some more?
Yeah, we can do so. Whilst you're doing that, I'm looking at not unexplained mysteries, but 4chan X, and my God, it's basically just like, can I have a vampire girlfriend? Can I be abducted by aliens and have an alien girlfriend? Gang stalking thread. I was told by a reptilian shapeshifter that I'm Osiris. It's schizophrenic babble. How can I learn the long-forgotten art of talking to trees? That's more like it. Now, have either of you read The Enchanted Wood or The Magic Faraway Tree? In The Enchanted Wood, when there'd be trees for it, the trees in there would always be like making a susurration noise, which was described as a wisha, 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 wisha. Now, I can't remember what exactly happened, but there was one where I think it might have been Silky or Moonface gave them a potion and they were able to understand that the trees were talking and they were able to talk with the trees. If you've never read The Magic Fiery Tree, it's like Lord of the Rings, except it's just a lot more fun and adventure. It's just, let's go up to the top of the Magic Faraway Tree and there'll be different clouds, and depending on what clouds there, it'll be like a different land. And
Hobbit, I found a way around the thing in the corner. Just switch it from Just switch it from top chat to live chat, and then you have the big box that says "Welcome to live chat." And then it puts it above the heart.
Top chat, and if I go to live chat, and then you got great, yeah.
So you can see.
I fucking hate YouTube. I'm really annoyed with it.
It's dog shit.
The thing is, it used to be good, but then they just made it shit. And then there's like, what can we do? What further features can we add to YouTube to make it a bit shitter? And that's why I'm just like, I'm encouraging people to go to other platforms because I don't like YouTube. And you shouldn't like YouTube either.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love YouTube.
I'm.
The problem
got
is it's the
free.
easiest one to stream to. I'll have a look at. I'll have a look at opening a Rumble account, but don't you need like 3 forms of ID for that?
Well, bollocks to that.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
not
see what
doing that.
Rumble's like.
But yeah, I mean,
That's the
Rumble
problem,
looks.
isn't it? Like compatibility, like.
Yeah, if the other sites make it too difficult to do stuff, then they will never take on. They need to just make it like, give me YouTube, but where I can use gamer
Probably
words.
stream to X or whatever, you know? Aren't they doing the streaming thing soon?
Oh, I don't know about that, but actually that would be quite good. Here's how you talk to trees. Put your hand on them, full palm. Stay with it for a minute. Feel the bark. Connect with the root system mentally. Ask it questions. Make conversation. Can I see your past? It may show you. Fall in love with a tree, and one day you will know. So I need to fuck trees. A little bit of acid, a little bit of shrooms. Did the tree just talk, or was it you? You've got to silence your mind, man. Lean against the tree and the mind's eye will show you things. Hey, speaking of which, yesterday, I don't know why I saw this. Like, normally I see patterns in my mind and they're abstract. But yesterday, when my eyes were closed, I was seeing, like, distinct objects. Like, I saw the all-seeing eye above a pyramid. And occasionally I would see the Star of David forming in my mind. I don't know what it means. Like, I find it very unusual because normally, like, when I close my eyes, the patterns, occasionally they form shapes, but not really. And most of the time I deliberately force myself to, like, let go of any shapes, because then it will go from making just, like, coloured swirls in my eyes to not seeing with my eyes and being in my imagination. And then when I'm in my imagination, I can't sleep. But for whatever reason, last night the coloured shapes were, like, distinctly, like, flashing images of the all-seeing eye above the pyramid, and again 6-pointed stars. I say Star of David because when I see, like, the 6-pointed star, I think it's the Star of David. So you know, what's that about? That's never happened to me before. I'm sorry, I only just brought it up now, but it was just reading that thing about trees. Got it there. I'm ready to go into unexplained mysteries territory now.
Okay, go on then.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to sign up to Rumble.
Yeah, so more about, let's see. A lot of these threads, they're saying stuff like, oh, meditate, expand your mind while sitting under or being connected with a tree. They are conduits of energy similar manner to a man. What else is there saying? Sounds like you want to listen to the trees, not talk to them. I talk for the trees and their moaning. Still sounds like listening to them. As picture of a magic mushroom and some words. Listen, if you're a mushroom, you live cheap. Besides, I'm telling you, this was a very nice. The image is still lit. Neighborhood. Sorry, pretend I'm on dial-up because that's how quickly these images loading. This was a very nice neighborhood until the monkeys got out of control. So it's a picture of a mushroom, a Liberty Cap one, and that's Terence McKenna in dialogue with a mushroom. All right, so the mushroom is talking to him, and Terence McKenna believes in, like, his uncle was a monkey, so never mind him. I'm a long distance runner, and the best places to run are the forests. I've always been able to communicate with the trees, and they can be quite talkative. They don't speak English, though. The ritual of blood sap, a dangerous thing. You make a tacit incision on your skin and apply it to an incision on the tree. If the sap is poison, you might die. Works better with shrooms and an electrode, though, if you know how to manipulate quartz. So this is your jerk-off crystal, but with blood on it. The frost becomes your eyeball. This pales in comparison to false sight techniques. However, it is easier to perform. Learn to talk to trees. They only speak Spanish. Puta, said the tree. You need to tap into the mycelium network. Do you have any fungus growing on or in you? You could try to get ringworm. Yes. And also, don't try and talk to trees. They'll eat you. That's just advanced Venus flytraps. Food and vibrations? I call bullshit and the new age garbage regarding food and vibrations. I love it when something starts off with I call bullshit. It's all about eating food, and the cows are designed to eat. Humans not meant to eat grains, legumes, nightshades, or vegetables. Well, if we're not designed to eat them, then why do chips taste so good? Checkmate, Stephen J. James. Oh, it's a picture of a cute girl with a clown nose.
Nice.
What's this about? Lust-provoking image. Oh, this only 2 replies. Never mind what you are capable of becoming once you master the subtle forces, become an ex-adept. Shut up, retard, and die. Read about process philosophy. Oh, very
go
good.
Through 4chan.
Reading the X forum, and how can I summon a succubus girlfriend because I can't get a girlfriend in real life? Mystery Babylon Rising next summer at UN meeting? Okay, that could be interesting. I watched Nelson Walters on YouTube. He contends the meeting at the UN next summer will lead to Mystery Babylon Rising. Good stuff. Tribulation begins the Covenant. So there's a YouTube video about that. It's not loading. In some prophecy circles, it is speculated Jesus will return 2,000 years after his ascension from the Mount of Olives. For instance, Jesus stayed 2 days at the Samaritan village and 2 days at the Jordan. That's his spelling, not mine. 2 days at the Jordan before he went to visit the dead Lazarus to raise him to life. I'm guessing English isn't his first language. We know digital currencies are coming in a big way next year. Look at the war in Israel and also the events that happen after. This UN meeting next year will be important. And that's all it is. Okay. It doesn't really say much. What are the spiritual implications of following Shiva? Well, you have a desire to smear your walls with cow shit. We know about that. Oh, here's a Stephen J. James one. Does Buddhism actually take you to the highest reality? Almost went through with full disbelief in the reality of everything and saw a computer screen with lines of code appearing before me. Seemed that even in this state, there was no end to suffering, and that I'd become part of the computer rather than be an individual or something. Is there actually no end to suffering, or does Buddhism just take you to another false reality? The first reply says, Buddhism is a mixture of slightly erroneous but mostly wise metaphysical system and pants-on-head retarded general praxis. No idea what praxis is a German word.
So we now have a 14 words account on Rumble.
All right, and an exoteric temple-based religion which focuses on monasticism and charity. It's a mixed bag. No, Buddhism is not a system which will bring you up to the ultimate good, highest reality. If all Buddha, there's some word with way too much H's and A's in it. If all Buddhas are perfectly complete, there is no subsequent achievement of awakening, since it has been present from the beginning. Since nature of all dharmas is the same as those dharmas, just as they are, there is no origination, no cessation. If there's no origination, no cessation, there is no awakening. Well, just a bunch of meaningless drivel, really, like most of Buddhism. Nobody is real. Yeah, I know I'm posting as if any of you are real, but you can see clearly nobody is real. Everybody on 4chan Paranormal is scripted by a machine or one thing. I go to Godlike Productions and I've done numerous Google searches for free proxies, and guess what? No proxies work anymore. So how are you people posting? Well, how is he posting there?
Wait, Godlike Productions, isn't that like a Fed site? I've heard, I think I got banned from there once because I asked a question about some dude, one of the guys who owned it, and he banned me. Because someone said, if you type this into Godlike Productions, you'll get banned instantly. Like, there was an algorithm for it. So I typed it in and I got banned.
Oh, right.
I was like, interesting.
Isn't it about UFOs and stuff?
Godlike Productions. Yeah, it's about UFOs and like space phenomena and shit. Oh, that brings
I
back memories.
lurked
That
there
was
for a
like
while, but I never bothered
2012.
posting
Holy
anything.
shit. Yeah.
I saw one thread on it and on 4chan, and now if you're a radio listener, you won't understand this headline, so I'll give you some context. It says, "So honestly, what the fuck happened here?" And it's a picture of Jaws' girlfriend from the James Bond film, and she's smiling, and you can't see braces; it's just normal teeth, which kind of sort of defeats the purpose, really. So. ChatGPT even remembers the braces. Did Dolly have braces in Moonraker? And ChatGPT says, yes, the character Dolly, played by actress Blanche Ravelec, had braces in the James Bond film Moonraker. Dolly is best known for a role in a memorable scene where she and the character Jaws, who has metal teeth, find each other and share a romantic moment. Dolly's braces play a significant part in the scene and add a unique element to the character's interaction. The scene is often recalled as one of the iconic moments in the film. So, interesting, ChatGPT hasn't had the Mandela update yet.
Oh, that's Rumble's pretty easy to stream on. Rumble's pretty much like YouTube.
Oh, well, that sounds like the next platform to use.
Yeah, I think
Can
we'll
you
go
use
to Rumble
can we use the words we're not allowed to use here?
Probably best to keep them down to a minimum.
Oh, but I want to have like a good jokey one.
I don't think that platform exists anymore of it. We'll also be streaming to YouTube as well, but yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Unless we do the Rumble exclusive. Should we be like the Lotus Eaters? We're going to do a Rumble exclusive.
Rumble
or why don't we just say, look,
like
we've said as much as we can on YouTube. Come on to Rumble so that Hobbit can talk like a normal fucking human being for a change.
So Hobbit can talk like he's from the hood somewhere.
Yeah,
so that
like
Hobbit can talk like he does when he's in the pub. Yeah. Not like the hood. The opposite of the hood. I'm from the Shire.
Should we do first hour YouTube, second hour? Because I could do that.
Oh God, no! Fuck no! God,
we'll be like,
I'd be like
no, don't be like that.
Rumble.
No, why not? Let's do it. Just like look in the first hour, but then in the second hour where things get wacky.
I hate those things that do that. Like, exclusive members, second hour shit.
Or how about the first hour is on Rumble, the second hour is on Rumble, but only the first hour is on YouTube.
Yes, that's what I mean. I'll just cut the second hour from YouTube.
You know what we could do as an intermission? Like, when the hour's up, we could play that song I made for you all those years ago. Do you remember when I went to the effort of making you a song for the show?
No. Well, you've never really mentioned it, Hobbit. That's the thing.
I mentioned it once or twice, but I think you forgot about it. So you could use that as the outro to say, and then join us in the second hour.
Well, we've got a test stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll be up for that.
Yeah, so that'll be we're doing a Rumble exclusive.
I've got my DMT pads as well. That although I'll have to talk to you afterwards because I don't really feel like talking or doing anything whilst tripping. So I'll make sure to have
14 words or one word on Rumble.
Yeah, I'll look forward to it. So I'll have to 7:30 or something. Blast off into space just so I can land down and join on the special Friday night Fortean. Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Exciting.
We can talk about also we can read from Unexplained Mysteries.
Yeah.
I can copy and paste content from the other woo-woo people and claim it's my own content. We could have ourselves a proper Fortean episode.
Do you know we were actually on the Apple? We're on Apple.
Not only that, you're on Deezer as well.
Yeah.
And I tried to listen to you on Deezer, but after 5 seconds, it puts an advert where it's clapping and talking about strong, empowered women don't need no man to tell them about heart transplants.
We're on. If you want to find us, we're on obviously on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn.com, Podbay, Spotify, RadioPublic, Owltail.com.
I apologise for anyone who's listened to any of these platforms and my shit takes.
Yeah.
Apology.
Using fucking every other word.
Sorry.
Listennotes.com. I don't know. I don't even know how I got on half of these places. I think
it's that like Snopes, but for
yeah. So we're set up on Rumble now. Oh,
cool.
No channels found, no videos found. Okay, maybe it's because I've just opened up or something.
That's probably it then.
Yeah, because I've got nothing on here, have I? Let's see. Should we see who we're on with? What should we check with?
Yeah. It's Succubus General 504, and it's got
Patriot Party News. We're on giants like Lockbeard, Mark Sargent.
Oh, Mark Sargent, he's a flat earther.
Yeah. Peter McCulloch, MD.
No.
Almecom.
Nope.
Austin Strunk. Yeah. Country Music Club.
Yes.
Oh, Lo-Fi Hip Hop Radio.
This is the science section, right?
No, I think it's in different sections.
Right.
I think it just ignores you after a while. We'll see if Draskus is on here. And then we'll do a crossover with Draskus, shall we, a bit?
Oh, that could be something.
Interdimensionals found it. It's on Rumble, so we're on Rumble.
Yes.
Oh, Craig Wilson wants the Joe 90 theme for the intermission.
No, use the music that I made specifically for the show. JDLE. No, it's not. Oh, yeah, that was the JDLE one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know Cat Turd's on there?
Yeah, I've heard of Cat Turd before. Hey, Geralt's not mental anymore. Can you do JDLE with him?
We could do. If he wants to.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Yeah, so
that might be better for Rumble because you know how Geralt likes to use game of words more than I do.
It would just be a game of wordathon, won't it?
Oh, we're gonna try and out. I was gonna say it then. We're gonna try and out. We're gonna do a no game of words November.
Not for the first hour.
No game of words.
Not for the first hour. No.
Yeah.
No.
JDLE might even return, but it'll be a Rumble exclusive.
Yes, that certainly will be. Now, who here knows about the Global Consciousness Project DOT? Have you heard about the GCP DOT?
Can't they finish the web address?
The Global Consciousness Project DOT. It's a dot, and it's currently green, which is normal.
Oh, that thing. Yes, I remember that.
What is it? What does it do? You
it's
stare
a dot and it changes colour.
Oh, right.
So the Global Consciousness Project collects random numbers.
It's like a fake and gay version of the atomic clock, isn't it?
No, it's the measure of how reality is being fucked with. Graph. The Global Conscious Project collects random numbers from around the world. These numbers are available on the GCP website. This website downloads those numbers once a minute and performs sophisticated analysis on those random numbers to see how coherent they are. That is, we compute how random the random numbers coming from the eggs really are. The theory that the global consciousness of all beings of the planet affects these random numbers, maybe they aren't quite as random as we thought. The probability time window is 1 and 2 hours, with display showing the more coherent of the two. For more information, the algorithm we
might have to change our time slot because we're clashing with Bannon's War Room.
Oh no!
Oh no! What a shame. The real-time data analysis of the Global Consciousness Project, it collects data each minute and runs statistics of the stream of random numbers generated by the project. This analysis is run 10 minutes behind the generation of the data. In this way, it can be seen as a real-time indicator of global consciousness coherence. And so, as far as they understand, they got what it means. So,
Hobbit, how can we go live on a Thursday? We're going up against Bible and Chill. How can I pray for you? Super Mario Wonder playthrough.
Yeah. So what it means,
we go up against Bible and Gaming, Hobbit. How can we go up against that?
Well, that's all right. I talk about Jesus. I talk about games. We got all your Bible and gaming needs covered here on the Fortean show.
No need to go to Pastor Doostin.
Yeah.
He looks like a proper lad though. Pastor Doostin does. He's got one of those big hairy, one of those straggly DZ top beards, and he's also got like a jar head as well, and he's ginger. Oh, Russia Today's on Rumble. Did you know that? Well, RT Germany is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I used to watch Russia Today, but mostly it's like stuff about Anglo's bad. It's ever since they got taken off of the air, they're just sort of shitting on Europe now. And
there's also Spencer drink reviews and chugs.
Cool.
Cup chug.
Is that Richard Spencer? Is that what he's up to these days?
Yeah.
Is that what he's up to these days? No, burger reviews. Disappointed.
You can get that in plenty of places.
At least it's not that fucking mutant, the one who looks like he's always looks as if he's about to spit his food out when he's eating it. And
there's typical Mac users on here, Hobbit. I don't know if we can stay. Veteran bloke playing live in free iOS 9 pool game 4K.
Oh no! You say typical Mac user, and I immediately think about
Capstan.
No, the image. Yeah, certainly do. So, God, I'm tired.
Oh,
but we've still got some shit.
We started early. Have you got more content you want to do then?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just scrolling through X, and it is making me like, I'm trying to find anything good. Like someone saying, "World's getting weird." What Anon's researching. Let's see if we can save unexplained mysteries for another day.
Yeah,
there's a lot of strange happenings on and about traditional religion.
It just kind of hangs around for a while, and then you're
doing
the same stories over and over again. We need to find another news site.
Traditional religion is declining, but superstition is on the rise, and people are getting polarized everywhere, even if they don't know it yet. The only normal people out there on the planet are the ones living lifestyles that haven't changed much in the last half century. Mostly the ones too poor to have cell phones.
What's a phone made of cells? What, like stem cells?
No, it's a cell. It's a phone you use in your prison cell.
Oh, okay. That you stick up your bum. A bum phone.
The only Bobo phone. The only normal humans left might be in the poorest parts of the planet. What was once secret and profane can now be found on old websites, and ancient texts are easily available in digital format. Do you have any pieces of unique or important information that should be more widely known?
Have you heard about the spooky face on Jupiter?
No.
Apparently there's a spoopy face on Jupiter.
Oh, it's just
pareidolia,
bro.
Yeah, it's just pareidolia, bro.
Yeah, you just got to take your anti-rejection meds.
Yeah.
If you're not studying the electric universe and how our history has been affected, then you are clueless about the gods. Our real history is beyond insane. Most of you are quite not literally ready for the truth.
Have you heard about the Sand Circle in Pembrokeshire?
No.
Mysterious markings.
Is that where the Stonehenge was originally, and then they moved it?
Yeah. When I was at Stonehenge, I was informed by a Yank who know everything about history and stuff. And they were brought over by truck from Wales, according to this Yank.
Well, there's the photos from the 1920s.
Hobbit, are you not commenting on that, Hobbit?
What? I was about to comment on it.
Oh, okay.
I was saying there's photos from the 1920s showing Stonehenge being lifted up on cranes and put in place.
Mm. So you believe it's new then, do you? That they did bring it over by truck from Wales. A yank was indeed correct.
No, I'm saying the stones have been there for a long time, but there's drawings of it from the 18th century showing it's just a pile of stones, and there's only like one or two recognisable ones that are standing upright.
Right, hold on. Let me just save this image. I'll put the image up. Image, brown. That one, and that. So there you go. There's the thing on the beach. It was done by a beer company.
What?
Apparently, there's a puzzle in it that you have to solve. So, when observed closely, the mysterious sand art reveals a central cipher code written by Dr. Joe Melville from MIT. Beavertown Brewery is encouraging everyone to put their decoding skills to the test this Halloween by attempting to solve the hidden code in the extraterrestrial beach markings. But they're not extraterrestrial because you told me they aren't. They're not.
They're just truck drivers from Pembrokeshire.
Yeah, with a plank.
Yeah, and they did it drunk at 3 a.m.
Yeah. So 73% of viewers think demons are overdone in paranormal reality shows.
What?
What if there was just a poll, like, and it goes to hell, and it's like, I'm sorry, Satan, but 73% of people say that demons are just cliche and cringe.
Justin Cowell.
They're supposed to make people cringe in fear. No, they're saying cringe as in they're like boring an old hat. We're eternal. They're supposed to cringe. No, they're saying they need new scary things now. They're all about spooky skeletons. That's not even fucking real. The demons are the only things that are real. Well,
they're normalised to the poltergeist activity now. You need to do something more, like...
Yeah.
Just imagine the devil being surrounded by a team of PR consultants and lawyers telling him, like, demons are old hat and he needs to, like, modernise his image to scare Zoomers. It's like, no, we found something far more scary than demons, like working in an office and not saying no to your boss.
Holy fuck. Did you know black-eyed adults are here and they've killed some bird's boyfriend?
Oh, no.
Frightening first-hand accounts of the black-eyed children have been flooding the internet for the last few years, terrifying readers with tales of strange kids showing up on doorsteps in the middle of the night.
Oh, that's been years for that, though.
Yeah. So just found Week in Weird today, and I want to tell you about an adult BEK experience that I had back in May 2012. At the time, me and an ex-boyfriend were living in Lee Woods, just outside Bristol, UK. We had many strange experiences in the 3 months we were staying in the woods, but this one takes the biscuit. We were leaving to go to work one day around 10:30 a.m. We're out on the towpath at the bottom of the gorge. Right there were 4 people walking along The first, short, middle-aged man with pointed grey beard and completely black eyes. The second, a very tall, middle-aged woman with completely black eyes. And the third, a teenage boy, roughly 17 to 18, with completely black eyes. And a troll-like underbite, with what seemed to have fangs protruding upwards. And the fourth was a very beautiful black girl. Okay. The rest were extremely pale white, apart from the black girl. Like, So they're now multicultural, the black-eyed kids. The strangeness, the path was flooded out. Some puddles on the towpath were up to a foot deep. And they weren't stepping in the puddles without even looking at the ground, which I promise is impossible in flood season, even when you're paying attention to what you're doing. Their skin didn't seem to fit them, and they moved in a very strange way, almost like their limbs were bending in places there are no joints. The 2 older ones looked at us, and we said good morning. Okay then, with this really unsettling smile. But the black-eyed adults said nothing back, which is really odd, as it's a very friendly city where strangers often talk to each other. They stared at us and it felt awful. They were like looking into my brain or something. The troll-like teenager looked dead ahead with a really angry expression on his face, and the girl looked happy but vacant, like she was hypnotised, just staring into space, walking in front of him. Their clothes were modern waterproof coats and walking boots, apart from the girl, who wasn't wearing walking boots like she'd intended to come into woods, but she was wearing flat pumps, which nobody in their right mind would wear in that path in flood season. When they had passed us, we looked at each other immediately and said at the same time, that was so weird. We both felt the strangeness emanating off them, like a sense of foreboding. What adds further mystery to this encounter is that exactly 1 year later, my ex tragically died at the age of 22 in one of the keys of that same river that the towpath follows. It was reported he had hallucinated a girl called Sally throwing herself in after speaking to her. He could have been saved, but he refused to let anyone rescue him until he rescued Sally. There are a lot of residential boats on that quay, so a lot of people heard him shouting for her and tried to help him. The police looked in the quay for a second body for hours after he died, but concluded she'd been a figment of his imagination brought on by misadventures with drugs. I know this might sound far-fetched, no, but I've been trying to find out more about these BEKs ever since and wanted to share this experience in case it was helpful to anyone, and in case you have any information that might be helpful to my search for answers. Thank you so much for reading this. I appreciate it.
Hmm.
What do you think of that then?
Don't have children with black-eyed kids unless they turn out to be trolls? Is that what the moral of the story is?
Oh yeah, Saturn's rings disappearing into the dimension. Just, I think you read this, didn't you, Hobbit?
Wait. Oh wait.
No, I didn't. That must be another Mandela effect.
Oh, okay then. Well, yeah, apparently Saturn's rings are disappearing.
Saturn's never had rings, yeah.
Yes, it has.
I used to draw Jupiter with rings when I was a
Saturn's the
child.
one with rings, Hobbit.
Saturn is literally the planet with the rings on it.
I know, but they're going to gaslight you and say, "Oh, Saturn's never had rings." What are you talking about?
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Okay, you know,
What do you mean? It never was
tomorrow if
that.
Stephen J. James talks about Saturn not having rings, and like he's got a telescope and he's looked up at Saturn, he's never seen rings on it. We'll know then officially that the timeline, the reality shifted once again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Craig Wilson says, did they not just have sunglasses on?
So
I thought that was quite a good. That was quite a good story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think to black-eyed kids? Believe or not believe?
Scary demons.
Stories, right? Yeah, just.
Mm.
I mean, it's, part of the course, isn't it? If they knock on your door, just say no, you're not coming in. That's it.
Fuck off.
Carte blanche with everyone, just like no, sorry.
Because they just go.
Save yourself 9% of trouble by doing that.
They just go, don't they? You're not letting me in. Oh no, that's sad. They don't really do nothing, do they?
No.
So if you do have black-eyed kids on your front door, just tell them to do one.
Yeah. Tell them to come back when they're older,
Oh, did you know? Did you know Lorraine Warren met Sasquatch in Tennessee?
Lorraine, as in Lorraine.
You know Lorraine Warren, don't you? The Warrens from The Conjuring.
Oh right, okay, yeah. She met a Sasquatch. Actually met it, like talked to it.
Yep. I want to save that one for next time.
All right, okay.
I think I found a new website.
Oh.
That's where I got the black-eyed. That one I've just put in is where I got the.
Ooh. Oh, right, okay. Interesting.
There we go.
10 haunting.
Right, so are we all done?
I'd say so.
Any more?
Cellular memory is real, and I'm sure.
No, it's not. It's just swamp gas over beds you took.
It's a Fata Morgana.
Yeah, and if I remember, we'll do a test stream tomorrow from Rumble. A Rumble exclusive.
Yes. There's going to be a Rumble in the Rumble.com.
There's going to be a Rumble exclusive.
Exclusive
for our Rumble only listeners. Do you remember when Unwashed used to do that with D-Live? Used to try and make people go to D-Live. Anyway, night all. Stay Stay spooky.
Ooh.